U-Trips is about to take over Madden 26. I know because I just played one of the best in the world at using it, help Hicks. So in this video, I'll be breaking down exactly how he runs this elite scheme plus what I did to slow it down. And as usual, we're facing him in a 1v1me.com match where over $5,000 was staked. Alright boys, now we're starting on the defensive side of the ball because the focus of this video once again is the U-Trips offense and how it can be used by some of the best players in the world to make defense almost impossible. So we're starting off with a defense that we would usually run against U-Trip players. It's a very simple cover two with a mid-read, so that'll match the tight end on a streak, a deep post, anything like that. Another post, and there's lots of posts in U-Trips. It might as well be a post simulator. So nonetheless, we're running cover two. We have the mid-read being our main zone, and we also have cloud flats on each side. Now these are 10-yard cloud flats, not, a cloud flat that you would normally see, right? Because they play too deep. So we actually have 10-yard clouds instead. Now that is the basic defense. Now we're also running the Texas four-man on the line. You can see we're trying to come in, blitz as much as we can to get pressure on him, right? Kind of hoping that he doesn't really roll out on us too much and we can get some real pressure. Now let's run through the first play. You're gonna see we're still basically in that cover two, and he runs the first play. It's Y option wheel stock, like literally stock. And I want to pay attention to kind of what he's doing here. So he has the flat over here. He has the streak. He has a tight end curl. He has the wheel. And then he has this post. Now the mid-read will cover the post. The cloud will do a decent enough job covering the wheel. And everything on this play should be well covered except the flat. So if he's smart, he's going to hit the flat. He waits, doesn't hit the flat, he ends up rolling out. Now that was kind of a consequence of us running the Texas four-man, makes rolling out really, really easy. So second play, we're still pretty confident in the cover two. Giving up a scramble isn't too bad. Now, the combos that someone could run in U-Trips are fairly simple, right? Some people run TE whip, looks like this, then they have like two posts, right? They could do this, that's a common combo that people run, or they could run TE whip like this route, right? And then they have a post here, I believe a flat here, and a streak here, right? Super basic combos that a lot of people like in this formation. Now, some other people run a post, flat, post, streak, right? And then like a running back out route. Attacks pretty much zone coverage really, really well. And then the other combo that people will use is they'll put a whip, a crosser, an in, a streak, and let's say like a flat here too. Those are pretty much the 4 or 5 combos someone will use in the U-Trips formation. Because they complement each other so well, it makes defense almost impossible to play. So on this play, we're still in cover two. Now, he runs the same play, but he blocks his running back this time to give himself a little bit extra time. We ended up running into his tight end, so we got a pass interference, scrambles again, right? I'm surprised he didn't fumble there on that dive, but nonetheless, he scrambles. We're still doing good on defense. He ran the same play twice, the Y option wheel play. Now, the way some people run Y option wheel, I'll show you in a moment when he comes out on offense. And probably the best way to run it is not the way that he just ran it here, but you're going to see this throughout the game. Corner, flat, streak, backside post, right? This is super effective because if you overcommit to cover the corner, because the corner can be thrown in 2 different windows. He could throw this corner early in this window, or he could throw the corner late over here, right? Because the streak is pushing any deep zone. So the corner pretty much needs 2 zones to guard it, or you need to user it or switch stick it. So that is another very effective combo people use in U-Trips. So what you're gonna see here, I believe is in the Chargers book. Now right here, I'm blitzing him. I think, okay, he's in my red zone. I can kind of get away with it. My goal is to deep head switch to this player and guard the tight end for a moment and then come back and cover a post route if he has a post route on the field, right? So let's take a look, see what I do here. Snap the ball, switch. He puts a whip route on instead, right? So we can't really commit to the whip here. Has a slant. I go to switch here because the slant is coming across the field, right? He's coming across. He's gonna see that I'm gonna switch this player and come in to play the slant. And then obviously the smartest read would be this running back. And Hicks doesn't miss those types of reads. It's very easy, very low risk, and he gets himself a first down running it. If you're liking this game so far and want to see tons of live competitive Madden action, you should definitely check out 1v1me, because not only can you watch, but you can also make real money staking on these matches. So if that sounds cool to you, check out 1v1me.com and click the link down below or use code SWOLOSIMO for a $50 no sweat stake. Once again, that was just TE whip, like the combo I talked about before, with the tight end zig, the slant on R1, the post on the backside, and the streak on the outside most trips receiver. So right here, back in cover 2 again. Cover 2 was still good for us. We were just getting scrambled, even though we were sending 4. Now 2 10-yard hard flats, hooks already set, the mid read on the field, and we're kind of showing that we're blitzing. We're kind of showing a blitz here, right? Because in this situation, people are probably going to 5 out. Now we show the blitz. We are running cover 2 still. Let's see what he comes out in. He is running, probably Y option wheel again, but we'll see. Lots of hot routes. Now right here, this is another play people were running, U-trips. That is still very effective. Now I'm gonna go back and kind of show you the combo as it's set up. So he has this in-breaking streak that he stems down that's really, really hard to guard. A streak on R1, so it's in-breaking streak here, and then a drag. And then he'll put like a slot fade here or maybe a return. But the main read is this tight end seam. If there's not someone to immediately guard him, he is going to throw it. So take a look here. I think the mid read should go over there and guard it instantly, right? The seam should also be covered, so we have to be worried about the drag. So you can see the mid read goes there, covers it, and you can see he has a streak here. He has this out route. This out route will be covered by the hard flat. So we just got to cover. We just have to cover this backside drag because he is covered and this player is covered over here, right? So we just got to worry about the backside drag. We come down, cover the backside drag, but he does something very interesting here. Despite us having a 10-yard hard flat that plays in between, he was still able to hit this super deep comeback. Now, if I click on here and hit play ball and go to intercept it instead of switching around, chances are we intercept it. But because we get a late click on and we actually get clicked onto this player, I'm frustrated, as you can see, I circled it 10 times. Instead of getting clicked onto him, we get clicked onto this player, which makes it so that he can hit this comeback and he ends up getting the first down, ends up in first and goal. First and goal, we're gonna be in double A gap again, really try to take away the obvious stuff, like, for example, the runs. First and goal, you're gonna see he's in U-trips again. Now, he can't really run on us because once again, our user is hovering over the center, making it so he would come in free if he runs. If he tries to throw the running back, he's covered. We should be manning up this player. I hope we do. The only thing that could really be open is a tight end whip, right? That's the only thing, so we have to D-pad switch, but he ends up audibling out, switching to a trips. Yeah, just a trips tight end. Likely going to be QB zone, but as soon as he saw me so it was probably QB zone. The reason I say this is because he had Malik Willison. He doesn't want to get Jordan Love worn and torn. And because he has Malik Willison, it's like, okay, he's probably running the ball at the quarterback. He's willing to take a hit with Malik. However, he sees me bring the safety down into the box, which immediately says, okay. He says he has a smile on his face. That's what he has. He has a smile. He's smiling at this point. Because he has this open flat now, right? So he's probably going to audible to the RPO bubble or an RPO flat and just throw that instead, right? Or even just pass the ball. So because he knows he has that window, he audibles out, and then he's going to call the bubble. He has an easy dot, right? So I try to take away the first option, but he goes to the second option, and he gets, a very easy walk-in touchdown. Now, throughout this game, I'm keeping up with him offensively, so we're once again now up 7. It's 14-7. But we're still kind of committed to this cover 2. It's been a good defense for us. We've given up some scrambles, some underneath stuff, but the comeback we should have probably picked. But nonetheless, we're covering the basics of U-trips with the cover 2. But when you're playing an elite player like Hicks, he's going to do an awesome job at seeing the defense you're in and running the few combos that do beat it, right? So he still has Malik Willison. It's probably an accident. So he knows I'm in a cover 2, but the problem with my cover 2 here is that this player, did I put him in a deep half or an outside third? I think I put him in an outside third. Yeah, he's in an outside third. So I'm thinking, okay, he's in an outside third. There's no way a slot fade's going to get open. But for some reason, I'm actually still not sure why, right? Usually I have an answer for almost everything that does happen. The slot fade got open, possibly because he bumped into the hard flat, pushing him outside more. If I were to take a guess, that's probably the reason. But he's able to throw it, and it becomes a very easy dot, and there's no way I'm catching Christian Watson. He's 96 speed. The Packers just have so much speed. So despite having that outside third, he just instantly scores a touchdown. So he knew we were in a cover 2, and his goal was to throw it against the deep half. We knew that was probably his goal, so we put an outside third on, but because he got bumped by the hard flat, it made it more open than it should have been. It actually just shouldn't have been open regardless. So right here we score, we leave him about 34 seconds, but I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm doing here. I have the safeties backed off now because I'm kind of scared of the slot fade, right? So I'm thinking if I back off my safety, he can't hit us with it. But of course there is still a problem with this, and you're thinking like the middle of the field, the seam. However, I'm thinking this hook curl and this mid read will prevent him from throwing the seam. Like, it shouldn't be an issue. However, you're gonna see whenever you have your safeties back, if you ever wonder, oh, why does every pro have their safeties, pinch and close? It's because if you have them back, no matter how good your coverage is, you're going to be giving up something in a spot that you wouldn't have been giving up if you were on pinch and close. And in this case, that's a drag here, but you're gonna see later in the drive that he is gonna be able to hit that seam. Now right there, that was actually TE whip, I believe, again. So what he runs here is this one of his favorite combos: out route, zig, slant, and then he has a post here and a streak here, right? He kind of alternates between having the post here or the post here, and then a streak here, and it just makes it really difficult to guard. But we're willing to give up, a little out route from the running back for, 5-6 yards in this situation, right? Because he does have 3 timeouts, but it's only about 5-6 yards. We can deal with that. Now, once again, we're in that cover 2. We're very confident in it. We feel like it's great defense. Actually, right here, we're blitzed. We blitzed because we thought his running back was going out, right? And his running back did go out, but the heat didn't come in. This tells us he's probably full sliding or untargeting or doing something to pick up our blitz. Or U-trips is just insane. One of the 3. But in this play, you're going to see he's actually into U-whip. Whip, streak, post, out route. But the problem is I can either go play this streak with my defensive lineman that I just deep had switched to, or I can cover this whip route. And he's probably gonna take the safer read, the seam, because I just couldn't get there. And you're gonna see, had I been on pinch and close, that seam is probably guarded, right? Or at least mugged up a little bit where he doesn't throw it. So you can see he hits the seam. We can't really run, we can't really run backed off safeties. You can see I bring them back down on this next play. Now he's sending his running back out consistently, and we're like, okay, well, we got to get heat eventually. So because we saw him doing the full sliding thing, we're thinking, okay, well, maybe he might block it or block his running back if we just take away his first and second read, this tight end, and likely like someone coming here, we're okay. We can deal with that, right? So let's see here. You see, we take away the tight end for a very long time. Now we are sending 5 people here. We sent 5. Right, we have 5 people rushing him, but the problem here is that we're still sticking. He's able to hit this running back route, right? So that's fine. We're willing to give that up, that running back route, but he still is getting a lot of time against the send 5 rush, and you're gonna see kind of how that plays into things. Now right there, I accidentally run into a center. He accepted it, but we're gonna continue. Still sending 5 here against 5 out, and right here I had to come down on the Texas. So he saw last play that I was sticking with this route. Instead of having an out route, he had a Texas, knowing I'd have to come down. So he just waited, saw me come down, and then he went ahead and throws this streak in between my inside quarter and my deep half. Now I had an inside quarter on because I was actually worried about a seam. But because I had a curl flat, I really shouldn't have been worried about the seam, right? If I had an inside third on, it probably would have covered that route. We would have been okay for the most part. But we just made it as easy as possible for him. So he scored with 14 seconds left. Now the major downside with him scoring with such little time left is he got the ball at half. So we're still in this double A gap. We're still trusting cover 2. Now you're like, why are you trusting cover 2 if he just scored 21 points? Well, you have to consider this. The reason he got the second touchdown was because he had the slot fade, right? And it's because this player bumped him. Pretty confident that if I have an outside third again, it's going to cover it. I'm not really worried, right? Then on top of that, I've noticed that when I blitz and run a hybrid, cover 3, right, and then I cover 2 on this side, when I run that kind of defense, the blitz doesn't come in, and he just waits to throw this tight end seam, right? So the best defense that we've had that's only really given up scrambles and a fluke slot fade was a cover 2. So that's why we went back to the cover 2 against this U-trips. But you're going to see U-trips is just so good. We're containing this time because we're thinking he's going to try to roll out against a Texas 4-man. Right here, everything's pretty well guarded. He runs a staple in this formation. This play, he has the tight end whip, the drag, the backside post, and then right here, I think this is a wheel and a slot fade. Now this guy's still frozen for some reason, but he does end up playing the slot fade good enough where he can't throw it unless he had velo. Now we're still kind of coming down to this tight end, right? We switched over here. We're coming down to the tight end route. This vert hook's covering this post. This wheel is going to be played by our flat, but there's one player breaking very open, and that's this drag route. So he's just going to see that drag and throw it. He actually does miss the read on the drag, still decides to throw the post, despite the mid-read being there, and he does hit it, right? I don't think that was the right read, but it still ended up being very rewarding for him. And once again, we're still confident in our defense. We're just giving up, like things that we just shouldn't be giving up. Now right here, hopefully I make a proper adjustment. Just man coverage across the board, but I am sending 6, which means as long as he sends his running back out, we are going to get someone in. We're sending 6 against 5, and that's what we get. We get someone in, we scream, we end up taking him to 2nd and 10. Not many people expect a heavy blitz on 1st and 10. It's one of those downs where it's very low risk for the offense. So even if they do take a sack, it's not as rewarding for the defense. So right here, we're like, okay, we need to get some heat in. We sent 6 last time. What if we sent 6 again? And I'm realizing that if I did send 6, I would be giving up a tight end corner or a drag early, and he's probably going to block his running back this play. So what we do instead is we just run a very basic cover 3 on one side, cover 2 on the other. But I do something different here. I want you guys to actually see this because it's pretty neat. Because I'm thinking he's full sliding, so pushing his whole offensive line this way, right? So everyone is kind of going like this, right? That usually means that they will allow this player to come around. So what I'm doing is instead of blitzing this guy for the send 5, I'm actually blitzing instead of blitzing this player, I'm actually blitzing the outside guy and zoning out this player. So I can switch to him and get into coverage. But you're gonna see that it didn't work because I didn't have this player blitzed. So we ended up not really covering a whole lot, giving up the drag, one of his staple combos, that seam, the streak, the drag, and then like a comeback on the other side. I'm gonna do the same thing this time, but I'm not going to mess up the blitz. So now this player is blitzed, so we should be able to get our heat in, right? We're sending 5 people, we have the contain on that side. So we're hoping to get some heat in if he sends his running back out. Let's see what he calls. Right here, we got T-whip. T-whip with the drag again. Whip, drag, post, streak, or slot fade. I think it's just slot fade. But he does block his running back. So the heat didn't come in, but we just have to be responsible for the tight end route and the few routes that he has over the field. We switch, we are able to make the tackle, except we weren't able to make the tackle. We were able to get contact, but we didn't make the tackle. Lots of real graphic delay there. I don't know why it does that in VLC. But you're gonna see, we switch to go make that tackle. Should be about a 6-7 yard gain, and he ends up just running into basically the end zone. His tight end is so fast. I think that's Luke Musgrave. He's 89 speed, and the Chargers DBs are around 90 speed. So if he gets ahead, we're not exactly going to catch up by much. So he ends up scoring again. But don't get me wrong, we are keeping up with him offensively. As you can see, it's now 28-28, and we just need a stop. We feel like if we can get one singular stop, we will win this game, and that's all we really need, right? So on offense, once again, in this play, he's calling his favorite, the seam, the streak, the backside drag, and the comeback, and the running back out route. And we left the seam here. We had a quarter, hits the seam, big gain. You just can't give up that seam. He's either going to throw the tight end seam or the R1 seam. It's super difficult to stop, and you have to be acutely aware of it. This play, we're doing things a little bit differently. So we're thinking, okay, if he has a comeback, let's at least man him up. This player will cover his out route. All we have to do here is either switch to guard a whip or sit over the middle to stop a drag. That's all we're thinking at this point. So we're like, okay, let's play a little bit more conservative rather than just running a cover 2 and trying to cover everything. Let's try this, right? This is a basic send 4. We feel like we have everything at least decently covered. And he doesn't run the rip. He actually just runs an out route here on this player. Drag on the tight end. And I think this is post. We switch to go cover the out route. He sees that. He's like, okay, I'm not going to throw that anymore. He's going to look to the tight end drag. The tight end drag is running into a hard flat here. He is running into a hard flat. And the post is back. Now right here is like, this is another key moment in the game. He actually had a comeback, a deep comeback on the outside receiver. Unfortunately for us, Dante Jackson does not jump and he hits it. And the other problem here is I'm okay. Like we dropped the pick. I mean, that sucks. But on top of that, we also didn't knock the ball out despite hitting him instantly after. So that could have been a stop for us, and we just didn't get it. So once again, we're going back to cover 2. We're like, okay, he's just going to throw literally anything he wants. The mid-read, at least we know, will cover this tight end seam. Now this play, I'm switching down to guard this out route. Now, chances are this dude's on a comeback. But I switch again to go guard the comeback route. That's what I do. I'm on the comeback at this point. So what you're going to see here is that he's, okay, I'm not going to look at this comeback. Let's see what I have open. Maybe this drag, or maybe he's just going to scramble because he has a huge window here, right? And that's exactly what he does. This is why U-trips is just so insane. I feel like it gets better blocking than other formations. People have been saying that for years. It's really easy to step up in the pocket against U-trips or in U-trips. And on top of that, it's just super hard to guard, right? All of the comebacks, all of the posts, all of the little drags, all the little whips. It's frustrating. And right here, I sent 6. He blocks everybody. And this is just an out-route post, whip, streak, I believe. And I think the post is about to be wide open. It is. He hits it. He sees the read. Easy dot. He is at the 1 yard line again. At the 1 yard line, you guys can kind of see the result. The drag route, I think, just burnt. Like R1 just burnt him. I think I switched. I actually got on him. I decided not to stay on him because I'm thinking, okay, something else is going to open. He's going to look elsewhere. And the blitz didn't come in. We didn't stay on the route, and he got a very easy dot out of it. Probably would have had the whip anyway. Now, 4 minutes and 16 seconds left. At this point, we're like, we can't stop him, and we're going to hope to not see his offense again. And that's kind of what we do. We run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, and walk him all the way down. And we start taking knees on 2nd and goal and 3rd and goal. You're going to see, we end up in a 3rd and goal at the 10. Now, that was just because of a bad stretch or I took a sack. But you're going to see at this point, I'm like, okay, now I'm willing to score. And if I do score, I'm going to go for 2, right? Feels like we have had no chance of stopping his U-trips. And on 3rd and goal, we call one of our staple combos, hit this return route, and we get in, right? So we're only down 1 point at this point, 8 seconds left. If we go for 2, we pretty much win the game, barring a crazy kick return, of course. But that's all we really need. Just go for 2 and almost win the game, right? So we call one of our favorite plays. We actually put, I'll tell you the combo. Though this is a YouTube video, you guys deserve to at least see the ending. I put a hitch and a comeback. The hitch will usually hold any zones when we're aligned from the middle hash, like we are on 2 points. And what you're gonna see here is that he actually mans up the comeback. You're gonna see he mans up the comeback, and I'm thinking, okay, that's probably a curl flat or something. So it's probably gonna cover the comeback. But it was actually man, and the comeback was open. I should have thrown this. I should have thrown this comeback. But you're gonna see I did not. And I'm looking to the later read, the tight end, but he switches onto this corner, sticks on him, and swats it away, and we end up losing the game. Now, I know that's probably, I think, the 2nd or 3rd loss you guys have seen on the channel, but nonetheless, I think it's really important to not only post the wins, but also post the losses when there's a lot to learn from it. Like in this case, U-trips is extremely effective, and you need to really be mixing up your defenses and switch sticking aggressively to stop an elite U-trips player, right? Like Hicks 215 is. Big GGs to Hicks. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to run U-trips, you only need to know a few combos, and you can steal them all pretty much from this video. If you enjoyed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and let me know in the comments if you like this style of videos. I kind of like making them, but they do take a while. But if you guys tell me you like them, I'll just make a ton of them. Thank you guys. Have a awesome day.